Why do the Democrats not want to get people back to work? Masks get to come off. 46% of the country is vaccinated. It's time to go back to work. There are 8 million available jobs in the country right now, and a whole lot of people who have set out. We get constant laments about how Gen Z and millennials can't find work. There are 8 million jobs out there. Sometimes you got to go do a job you don't want to do to get into a job you do want to get into. Oftentimes, you need to be working to be able to get another job. You know, oftentimes employers want to hire someone who's already working because it shows they have a work ethic. So get into the workforce, get a job. I saw someone yesterday when it was announced in Georgia that the governor there, Brian Kemp, is going to get rid of the unemployment benefit, federal benefit, $300 weekly supplement. That's so cruel. It's so mean. Why? Why is it mean to get people to work? It's good for them to have a job. Why isn't it cruel to taxpayers to force them to continue to subsidize unemployment? You know, it's a basic rule of economics. When you subsidize something, you're going to get more of it. The government's been subsidizing unemployment. Guess what? We've got more of it. What's actually kind of interesting to me is that there's an entire sleeper cell conspiracy movement on the left now that really unemployment's not that bad. That one number, it was just wrong. Look at all this other data out there. And of course, CNN has sprung into action, CNN.com in particular, the left-wing site, to lament those evil, nasty Republicans. Nearly 2 million jobless Americans are set to lose their pandemic unemployment benefits early, with Georgia, Arizona, and Ohio becoming the latest Republican-led states to announce they would cease providing enhanced federal jobless payments. Thursday's announcement brings the total to 16 states that have said since last week they would terminate the $300 weekly federal boost to state benefits, as well as the federal expansion of jobless benefits to those who previously didn't qualify and those who have run out of their regular state benefits. Governors are citing workforce shortages and the improving economy as the reason for their decision. The payments, which Democrats extended until September as part of their $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package, will end as soon as June 12th. The changes have the potential to drastically scale back assistance to jobless workers far too early in the recovery, says Andrew Stetner with the Century Foundation. Notice they don't identify it as a left-wing foundation, which it is. Why are Republicans the bad guy here? They literally use the Century Foundation, which is a left-wing think tank, to go halfway through this article blasting Republicans for encouraging people to go back to work. The Republicans are the bad guys here. Why are taxpayers forced to subsidize the unemployed at this moment? They're actually, CNN is soliciting people who are losing their unemployment benefits early to share their story. You know, they want to find sympathetic portrayals of people. They want to find the sad story, the devastating story, the worst possible case, and try to use that as an example of the whole being bad. The media, you're watching CNN try to shape a narrative, not a fact-based review of what's going on, but shape a sob story narrative, yet again designed to make Republicans look bad. It's all about 2022 for CNN right now, going fully in the tank for the left. No more fair and balanced news, no more apples and bananas. It's all about how can we make the Republicans look like selfish, greedy SOBs. Let's highlight the worst of the worst sob stories of people losing benefits, forcing Americans to stop smoking weed and playing Xbox and go back to work. How dare they? But people need to go back to work. There are 8 million available jobs in this country, and we're subsidizing unemployment. Ben Sasse, the senator from Nebraska, has come up with a proposal. His proposal is turn the unemployment benefits into a job bonus. If an employee goes back to work and works for a month, they get their federal subsidy over those 2 months. So it would be $300 a week for 4 weeks. So $1,200. They would get that as a back to work bonus. Instead of getting unemployment, they would get a hiring bonus. The governor of Idaho has decided what he's going to do. The governor of Idaho has decided that he is going to take the unemployment subsidy and he's going to turn it into a bonus for hiring. So if you go back to work, you're going to get your unemployment subsidy from the government. If you stay home and don't work, you're not going to get the subsidy. That's not a bad idea. You know, it's very similar, this nonsensical take from the left of, the subsidizing unemployment does not make unemployment worse. That's their hot take now. It's very much like their push on the electric car. Jennifer Granholm, the Secretary of Energy, was at a press briefing taking questions about the pipeline that was shut down, which is now restored. By the way, I drove from my house to Atlanta last night, about an hour and a half drive. And on the way up, a number of gas stations didn't have gas. On the way home, those same gas stations had gas. The gas is coming back online. Jennifer Granholm makes the case, if you had an electric car, you wouldn't have these problems. I see liberals. This is like Marie Antoinette saying, let them eat cake. Do you know how expensive a Tesla is? You want a Tesla? I mean, the most expensive Tesla, or the cheapest Tesla, is still more expensive than a lot of people can afford. You're going to pay for the Model S, you're going to pay $72,990 for the base model, and you're not going to get it until September or October. The Model X is their SUV. It costs $83,000, and you'll get it sometime between January and February. The Model Y, which is their new all-wheel drive SUV, you're going to get it. It's the cheap one, and it's still $45,690. It at least is available in 8 weeks. The Model 3 for Tesla, you're going to pay $33,690 for standard range. If you want long range, you're going to pay $42,690. And you're going to wait a while for it as well. As opposed to buying a used car, if you're someone without a lot of money, what's the disconnect here with the left? Do they not realize that there are people in the country who can't afford an electric car? And then you get an electric car, and where are you going to plug it up? In your apartment complex? Where are you going to plug up Tesla? A lot of government housing programs, they don't have high-speed plugs for Tesla. I guess you can go to the local Panera or somewhere. There are Tesla charging stations around. And go hang out at the charging station for 30 minutes because, you're poor, you don't have a job, so you buy your Tesla and you go hang out in a parking lot for 30 minutes while it charges. Let them eat cake. Increasingly, what we're seeing is the left in this country is completely out of touch with reality and society. For example, this is a good example. The number of people on the left who believe that a restaurant or a small business should just raise wages high enough that it encourages people to get off unemployment and come back to work. That may work for a Fortune 500 company, but for a small business on Main Street where margins are tight or a non-chain restaurant, it's not going to work. Believe it or not, the owner of the restaurant also must make a profit because they survive with the profit. They use the profit for their own purposes. The profit gives them the incentive to run the business. Most of them are not employees of the business. I know it's shocking. For example, let me give you a personal example. So this program right here that you're listening to is my program. I own it. I syndicate it myself. I've got a small team around me. We handle our own ads. We handle our affiliate relations. We handle our syndication. I don't have an office. I do it out of my house, and I don't get money for it. I do not earn a salary for this. All of the money that comes in goes to pay the people around me, goes to pay the cost of operating the show, from the satellite cost to the equipment cost to everything else. Hopefully one day I'll be able to have an office. Hopefully one day I'll be able to have money. But right now, if I raise wages like the left wants for me to attract people to come, thankfully I don't have that problem. But if I did, guess what? Not only am I not making money right now, I have less money to cover the necessary expenses for the program. That's my small business. Now, my small business, I get to run it as I want because it's my small business. And thankfully, I do pay well, and I've got a great team around me. And we're out there looking for ads. We're out there looking for new stations. We're out there looking for all of this stuff. We're out there growing. And for someone on the left who doesn't run a business, is not an employer, and has no idea how it works, to go out and say, well, buy everyone an electric car and raise your wages high enough to compete with government using taxpayer dollars to subsidize unemployment, they're completely out to lunch. They have no idea how the real world works. None whatsoever how the real world works. And yet they're the people now setting policy. You know, when Donald Trump was president, say what you will about Donald Trump. I don't care. Say what you will. 70% of the people who worked for Donald Trump came from the private sector. With Barack Obama, it was the exact opposite. And with Joe Biden, same thing. Most of the people who surround Joe Biden and advise him have never worked in the private sector. They don't know how it operates. Again, say whatever you want about Donald Trump. The fact of the matter is he and his team knew how the economy worked because they had met payrolls. They had worked in the private sector. They knew the costs of government regulation and government taxes, and they knew what would happen if you subsidized unemployment. They knew it because they had lived it in their private lives. The Biden administration, a bunch of think tank governmental bureaucrats and nonprofit hacks. They have no idea what a small business in this country goes through. They've never lived that life. They don't understand it. And so their solution, the Secretary of Energy, a careerist government bureaucrat and politician, will just get everybody an electric car, and that'll solve your energy problem.